Hey everybody, welcome in. This is going to be a fun video. In 30 minutes, I'm going to show you how to do downloading of 3 years of bank transactions from 3 different banks, normalization, data cleansing. We turned it into a categorization. We use AI for categorization, income statement, balance sheet, interactive in a website, Jupyter Notebook for exploratory data analysis, and also Y Data Profiler, a tool for learning what is wrong with your data. And we do it all in 30 minutes. If you're someone who says AI coding isn't real, I might change your mind in this video. Coming up. Hey everybody, welcome in. In this video, I'm going to be recording how to download bank transactions from Chase, from Wells Fargo, and from Mercury Bank. We need to be able to download these transactions so that software that John has built is able to analyze those for any bills that we might need to be cut. He built this in less than an hour, and we don't need accounting systems that are custom. We just need something that can quickly chew through this data. And in this video, I'm going to show you how we do that. Let's jump into the Chase account right now. So if we come in here, we're going to have to log into the Chase account using Daniel's username and password, which he can get from Keeper. Keeper is the name of the application. So I'll come over here and I'll open up Keeper and type the word Chase. We'll give it a second to load up. Of course, it's not cooperating, so I'll go ahead and close it. Sometimes it locks up on me. It's always good in a demo video when it breaks. Gives you a chance to show the extra side. Here we go. So we got Keeper loading back up. Finders, Keepers. Here we go. Verification code comes from the phone. Daniel has it 903293. Just like that. Master password. If you don't have this password, you can ask Daniel or you can ask John. They do have access to it through the Executive Assistant application. So now we're looking for Chase Boon Voyage. We'll click on that, copy the password, paste it here, go back over here, copy the password. So we got username and password. And I don't do remember me very often. You might get a text from Chase Bank. If you don't, that's okay. We'll go ahead and click on the account. And after we click on the account, we're going to want to download all the transactions. Now this is a toughie. You got to go over here and say download account activity. And when you do, it's going to ask you current display including filters, and we're going to say year to date. Year to date. That means everything in the current year. So we'll go ahead and download to a spreadsheet, and it's already downloaded. Now I'm going to go back and say download other activity, and we'll pick over here, and we'll say choose a date range, and we'll pick the prior year. So we'll just go over here. Whoop, whoop. I already broke it, John. What am I doing? Moving too fast. Go over here, scroll down, download account activity. Current display including filters. We got last year. That's a good one. Ink preferred, Excel. Boom. Just like that, we've downloaded these 2 files. We're done. Piece of cake. Now let's go over to Mercury Bank. Now Mercury does offer an API, but I don't want to get involved in that right now because it'll take too much time to set up. But it'll be something interesting down the road, especially when we switch banks over to Mercury, because it'll just make it a lot easier to have API downloading these transactions directly into the Rhea platform. All right, so we'll go to Mercury inside of Keeper. Let me pull this back on the screen so everybody can see that. Mercury, there we go. And then I already know my username is Daniel, so I'll just put that in. Password, and it's going to ask me for a 6-digit code, which is a texted number or comes directly to the Mercury app on the phone. So again, Daniel has to do this part. So we'll log into Mercury on my phone. And the 2FA code is 888633. Trust the device for 30 days, log in. From here, we're going to go to transactions and we'll say export all. That's everything from the current year. Let's see if there's anything in prior year. There wasn't. So that means we can just go to export all once we're inside of app.mercury.com, and we now have our Mercury transactions. Piece of cake. And then lastly, we'll go open up Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo. Okay. Wells Fargo. We're looking for one in particular. Where is it? There it is. Wells Fargo. D. Shanklin 83. There we go. D. Shanklin 83. Paste the password. Might get a 6-digit code here. No, they didn't like that. Let's try it again. DJ Shanklin 83. That was the problem. There we go. BV checking. And then we're we're going to find out how to download this stuff in here, and I don't remember how to do it. Let's see. Download account activity right down here on the activity screen. BV checking. We'll go ahead and pick the first day of the year. I always like to split up files by year. It makes it a lot easier on the system. And then we'll click comma delimited and say download. We'll get as many as we can that way. Now we'll go back up here, and I think they only let you get 6 months back, but we'll give it a try as best we can. So let's go to Jan 1, 2024, all the way to December 31, 2024, comma delimited, download, piece of cake, and now we'll go back and do a prior year as well. There we go. October 2nd was the first time this account was open. Here we go. December 31, 2023. We'll download this as well. Perfect. All right, now just for the sake of argument, since we've got a video up, I'm going to open up the Python playground, and I'm going to show you real quick. John's got a process for this. I'm going to show you how I do it. We just pick a new folder, and we're going to call it bank statements, like that, okay? And then from there, if you right-click on it, and you say Reveal in Finder, you're able to see a Finder window, which I'll pull over here. If we go to Downloads, we're going to find these 3 files for checking, and these, and these, and these. Now, I'm going to show you how I do this. You just drag it in like that. Now you got 6 files, right? Start a new chat inside of WindSurf, brand new, and then you'll right bank statements, choose copy path, paste it here, and say, what do you see? What do you see is my favorite question to ask AI because it assumes nothing and it lets it go through the process. You don't bias it in any way. You just let it do the work. There we go. And it only picked up on 3 different files. I'm going to say the 3 checking are Wells Fargo. And the single is from Mercury Bank. Can you rename based on the date, starting and ending date of each file? Now let's see what happens. Probably going to rename all the files that it just got. Names don't really matter too much, but they can help a lot. Let me check the date ranges in each of the files to rename them properly. For me, WindSurf is one of the most powerful ways to work with files because you're a programmer. You can just do whatever you want with them. It's pretty fascinating. Check the last few lines to get the full date range. I can now rename them. Let me rename them. There you go. And hopefully it'll finish all 6. Let's see. Ooh, you didn't finish. Sometimes this happens when you have more than 3 or 4 files. It doesn't finish, so we'll just ask it to finish. Now I'm going to say create normalized folder and normalize files into a single file, ensuring you don't lose any data when possible. Think about the schemas and ask your teacher for help. But we'll go ahead and let it finish renaming the file first. Ensure your normalization Python script has lots of double checks and follows solid dry dip principles and SCD type 2. SCD type 2 is slowly changing dimension type 2. It's a way that we define data. Whenever you have a transaction at a bank and you delete it, you can't ever delete something at a bank, but you can create a new transaction that deletes that transaction and then create a new one. So if you had a $100 charge and they needed to change it to an $80 charge, on day 1 they'll have a negative 100. On day 2 they'll have a positive 100 to cancel it out. And then a third one will be negative $80 to put on there what it's supposed to be. They never delete the original because they always have to have a record of everything that happened. And that's why on your bank statement it's always positive, negative, positive, negative. We call that SCD type 2. Slowly type 2. Now I'll create a Python script to normalize. What I'm trying to do is take all these files and let AI jam them home into one big file so we can run a mini data science project to see how much we spent every month. I don't want to take all the fun away from John, but since we have the video going and we've only been for 10 minutes, I think it's pretty cool to show people like 3 banks, 3 years of transactions, and we're going to build an income statement and a balance sheet just like that. It's going to be awesome. All right. Follow the solid principles. Implement dependency inversion principle. While this is going, I'm going to open up a ChatGPT and I'm going to say, I have a normalized data set of bank transactions. I want to create an income statement and a balance sheet, but none of the transactions are labeled. I want to use heuristics to label them as best as we can to limit our expense in using either ML or AI. I didn't mean to press enter, but it's okay. Since you want to avoid using AML to rely on heuristics, we'll use rule-based categorization, vendor demo, blah, 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 blah. So it's telling you that these are all the things that it'll classify as certain things, which is pretty cool, right? But furthermore, I'm going to say expand that out significantly, and we need to create a new table for labels and also ensure the existing data set has a combined key for each transaction that identifies it. Okay, and while that's going, we're going to see how far I got on this. Hey, normal bank statements. Module not found, no pandas. It's going to install that. Pandas is NumPy, which is a numeric program inside of Python, and then somebody wrapped a program around it called Pandas, and it's most common in data science. It's used for interacting with CSVs. So we'll go ahead and see if it installed Pandas and got it working. Look at that. Extracted, extracted, extracted. Okay, seems like there might be an issue. Does your process reconcile the total of the output versus the input of each file? So we're going to go ahead and let it finish. But what I'm saying is if you're going to take transactions from 6 different files and put them into a single file, you have to take the total from this one, total, 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 and make sure they all match. If you don't do that, you might have lost data over the period. Create a readme file to document the normalization process and explain the structure of the normalized data, yada, yada, yada. Boy, it's really going into it here. So let's go back over here. Let's take a look at this. Boom, here we go. Heuristic applications, sample SQL Server, reporting, income statement, and balance sheet. Human review. I don't need any human review. How about an AI review for something you're not confident in? We could use ChatGPT 4.0 Mini. I'll bet you in 3 minutes or less we're going to have this done, which will be pretty exciting. Platform.openai usage. Grab an API key. BB Labs. What do we call it? Unify, right? Yeah. Was it Unity? Unify? Let me AI that for you. That's a fun one. Let's just go with BB Labs. It's okay. BB Labs. We'll create a new key. And we're gonna, what is the name of this app? Or do you already have a key? What is it? Fix my bills. With a Z. Fix my bills. Service account, fix my bills. Can't even pay my bills. Can't pay my telephone bills. WindSurf. Come over here, Matplot and Seaboard. I love this. It's literally going to do charts for us. So exciting. Analyze transactions. Look at that. Bank comparison.png. Son of a bitch. How did it do that? Bank comparison. Look at that. Category spending. And look at how many are uncategorized. That's how you know your machine learning is yada. It's not good. Did your process reconcile the total output versus the input of the file? So I want to run that real quick because I want to make sure that if I'm building software that's moving data from one place to the other, it always has to check the totals as it moves it across. You raise an extra point about data integrity. The corporate does not explicitly reconcile the total amounts. This is a critical validation step. Solid, dry, dip, please. That's me telling the computer, I need you to follow really good software engineering principles. You're right. Let me create a reconciliation script that follows solid, dry, and dip principles to verify the totals match between input and output. In 15 minutes, we have created, from 3 years of transactions across 3 banks, our own financial platform that uses, in the next 5 minutes, we'll get through the next 5 minutes, that uses AI to transact and fix any transactions that were not categorized otherwise. It's going to be amazing. All right, let's keep going. So we got our API key. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to drop it into normalized. I'm going to say new file.env, just like that. And then I'll put in OpenAI API key equals. If you're watching at home, I'll blur that out later. There we go. There we go. And now, since we were on that, I'm going to go back over here and say AI layer for low confidence transaction system architecture. Perfect. If I take this entire thing, the whole thing, everything you see here, I'm going to wait for it to finish the reconciliation process. I'm going to say, I want you to create a new program that ingests the normalized data and does the following. We paste in the entire thing because ChatGPT helped us to build the entire program. And then at the end, we'll put this here and say, ask me 5 clarifying questions. And I'm going to show you how you can use Socratic Engine plus internet research to fix everything that you see here. Let's run the reconciliation script to verify. We'll go ahead and run that. Let's see what it came up with. The count and discrepancy. This reconciliation pointed out the overall totals match perfectly, which is good, but there were discrepancies at the bank level, and this appears to be related to naming inconsistencies between Wells Fargo and Wells Fargo without a space. So it's already found a data quality issue. We'll go ahead and let it run again. See what we get. Look at that. No discrepancies found. As long as that's part of our pipeline, we should be good. Okay, the reconciliation script now correctly normalizes the bank names, and we verified that there are no discrepancies. This confirms our ETL process, and now creating a dev log to document this important addition. There we go. I've implemented a comprehensive procedure using solid and dry principles and dip application. Everybody says you can't AI code. Look at what just happened. How many errors were there? 1, maybe? It's incredible. Here are clarifying questions. I don't want to answer these questions. Stand up a financial expert and a data scientist to answer them for you, and use the web for research if you must. We just asked one AI to create 2 new AIs, each of which have a different persona, and the 3 of them will discuss the issue, go out to the web, research everything they need to research, bring it back in, discuss it one more time, and come up with a solution. Let's see what happens. I need to create a program that ingests normalized bank transaction data and uses heuristics for transactions to generate income statements and balance sheets. We're racing here with 1 minute and 30 seconds left to be able to get an income statement and a balance sheet, and I don't think we're going to get there, John. I don't think we're going to get there. Now I'll research best practices for financial transaction categorization to complement the expert advice. I know it's going to come up with something too complicated. I would say, this doesn't sound MVP to me. Can you make it MVP? You're right. I didn't even have to know. I knew that based on its internet research, it would come up with something that wasn't very MVP. I'll implement a simple but effective solution for transaction categorization using basic heuristics. We're almost done here, John.
That's awesome.
Thank you, bud. I realized that it would be beneficial for people to see this process from an AI engineer and how they're using it to rename things, take in files, and why the business of software will not survive every onslaught of AI. Not when you can do something in 20 minutes that used to take someone weeks. All right, here we go. Financial statement generator, generating financial statements. Let's successfully process the data. Let's examine the results to see how the heuristic categorization performed. Let's look at the income statement to see detailed, and let's check the balance sheet. Let's examine the categorized transactions to understand how our heuristics performed, and now let's examine the implementation of financial statement generator to understand how it's working and identify potential improvements. Let's view the rest of the financial statement generator, and based on the execution of this MVP loads normalized data, categorizes transactions, generates an income statement and balance sheet, and produces a summary financial report. We got it all done in 20 minutes. I don't like that net income number, but it's missing some numbers, so please don't pay attention. I'm going to blur that out. I don't want any of y'all to see that. There we go. Now let's see if there's any way. Oh, look at this. It's implementing improvements already. I didn't ask for those. Slow your roll. Create for me HTML versions of each document that have interactive clicking, so I can open and close each section. Ask me 3 clarifying questions. What specific financial documents? IS and BS, income statement and balance sheet. What level of interactivity? Just collapsible. Collapsible. Additional features such as filtering, sorting. Nope, I don't need all that. Yeah, how about visualizations at the bottom? Would you prefer standalone HTML that can be open? Yes. MHTML. Standalone. Here we go. Standable. AI won't care. I can be a lot dumber than AI. Let me get the balance sheet data as well. Now I'll create the interactive HTML with collapsible sections for the income statement and balance sheet, along with financials at the bottom. Financials will be listed here as soon as it comes through. Where is this going, you think? I wonder. Monthly trends. I don't have a trend. Financial report. Category spending. Bank comparison. Hey, made a lot of money in that bank. Chase Bank, on the other hand. Whew. We've been quite spendy, John. Once I turn this data over to John, he's going to go through and figure out, well, he's going to have fun doing the same thing I did, because it is fun. But he's also going to say, give me 10 things that we can cut. What are 10 bills we don't need? Show me 6 patterns. Do 7 different things like that. And since we're in the bonus round, I'm going to show you something else. Use, what's it called? Use Pandas profiling or its replacement. Use YData profiler to run a report on the normalized transaction data. I want y'all to see this. This is really cool. So we'll go ahead and serve up the HTML file. There it is, port 8000, localhost. Let's pull this in. Localhost 8000. Ooh, that didn't work. There we go. It's got the report, but it doesn't have the financial transactions on it. Let's see. Financial statements. Bingo. Look at that. Revenue, expense, balance sheet, asset distribution. Isn't that crazy? It's just insane. Use YData report on normalized transaction data and also build me a Jupyter notebook. Oh, there you go. It opened that up. Didn't need to see that. Jupyter notebook that runs data science project and EDA on the data. Here we go. I don't need all these screenshots. You can be quiet. I lost it. I need 2 things. YData profiler report to understand data quality and Jupyter notebook with EDA on normalized data. Both are on normalized. Go! 2 things. Exploratory data analysis. Data scientists do this to look through data to find trends. It's a visual process that helps you to see things. I think the best example I've ever heard of was somebody who said if you were to take a spreadsheet with X and Y in two columns, X and Y and X and Y and X and Y, to describe dots on a chart, a human looking at the numbers would see nothing. But if you plotted it, it would be a smiley face. And so you sometimes have to look at data to see the trend. You can't look at the numbers. The other thing is a Jupyter notebook, which is a way that we do data science. Back when I was learning how to do this many years ago, it would take 2 weeks to do it. Now it takes 3 minutes. It's that fast. So Data Profiling is a package that is offered by a company called ydata.ai. They have cloud AI-powered data quality tools. I would definitely check them out if you need data quality at enterprise level, but if not, you can use the free version, which is called Data Profiler. So let's go ahead and install that. A couple other things you're seeing here. Matplotlib is used for inside of Python for creating charts, and then you'll see that that happens also inside a Jupyter Notebook. For those of you who are just getting into data science, it's worth mentioning that Seaborn is actually a better library than Matplotlib. Seaborn is a lot more cool and interesting charts. While that's running, let's go ahead and pull up Seaborn so you can see it for yourselves. Here we go, Seaborn charts. They're pretty cool. You could do so many different things with Seaborn charts and just be able to kind of expose the eye to just about anything you can imagine. Big fan of Seaborn charts. Matplotlib is okay, but Seaborn is where it's at. Okay. As we get more and more into the world of AI, I just told my guys today, I want you building any software whenever you can avoid it. Build prompts that answer questions. Do not build software. Software is technical debt. It costs the average company $1 per line per year just to maintain software. So if you have 1,000,000 lines of code, that's $1.5 million a year to maintain it. That is technical debt. But prompts are actually technical assets because as the models get smarter, the standard operating procedures within a prompt get smarter too. So you want to write tech assets, not tech debt. And that means thinking about how you're going to structure your stuff. And that means for us and all the software that we build, we don't write software that makes charts. We write plain English that makes charts, or more specifically JSON. Now I'll create a Jupyter notebook for EDA. So let's see if it already did the Data Profiler. It hasn't done that yet, but it did do the Jupyter notebook. So let's see if we can open up this Jupyter notebook. Transaction EDA. There we go. I'm going to click Run All, Exploratory Data Analysis, Python Environment, Virtual Environment. And this is going to cook that entire notebook right here. I know I'm going super fast. You can always slow it down and come back later and watch it. All right, let's keep going. Generate Profile Report. Hopefully that doesn't fail either. The way these things are designed is they have little cells. Each cell represents a program, a mini program. It took 15.9 seconds just to load up all these things. And now it's cooking its way through. There's some Wells Fargo transactions, data types and columns. How many things are missing? Missing values, expiration date, and 100%. The reference number, 99% are missing. Source account, 96% are missing. Post date, 22% are missing. So it's a really easy way to be able to see your transaction and take a look at it. Distribution of transaction amounts. Almost all of them were zero. I guess so. Chase, Wells Fargo, and Mercury. Wells Fargo, Chase, and Mercury. Temporal analysis. Ooh, the spending is up. Number of transactions a month. Not the spending, but the number of transactions. Really easy way to see that. Total transaction amount by month. Looks like we had some inflows and some outflows. I always like to see some inflows. We're an AI shop. We're not supposed to make any money. Number of transactions by day of the week. That's an interesting one. Look at how much money we spend on Monday. I wonder what's going on there. Everybody's charging us. Top 20 words in transactions. Business, Bon Voyage, Gusto, Shanklin. Oh, I'm in trouble now. OpenAI. We're spending some money in there. Transaction amount patterns. Number of expenses versus income. Well, income tends to be lumpier. That's what they always say. Let's go through here. Number of transactions by amount range. Load and analyze categorized transactions. Other expenses, software. So we still haven't gotten categorization down. We're going to have to go back and have OpenAI categorize those things for us. Number of transactions, financial statement type. As you can see, if you can get your data clean, you can go rerun this anytime you want and be able to kick out the results, and that's pretty cool. No software in the world can beat this. You can't beat this with QuickBooks, and we did it in less than 30 minutes. So now we'll start this Jupyter notebook. And I already ran the Python profiling report, and I'm going to show everybody what that looks like, and then we'll close up for the day. Categorize transactions profile report. We click on this guy. We'll right-click here, reveal in Finder, pull this over here. Now we'll click on this guy, pull this over. I'm going to drag it in here. Why Data Profiler is not EDA. It's a tool that you can use to make interactive websites. This is called a word cloud, and it can show you for any field in the system what the most common description is. Very easy way to be able to see that. You've also got things like the status on the account, sent and failed. You have interactions between things, so check number and amount. Those things aren't related. Correlations. If you had any data that was worth correlating, you could look at that. Missing values. It looks like almost everybody has a source account and a status, but there's a bunch of other things that aren't in there, which tells me that most of the banks don't fill them out. This is the data science process in less than 30 minutes, which I find fascinating. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments of this video. I'm glad you were joining me for this. It only took 30 minutes, but we got through 3 years of bank statements, automated categorization. In another 5 minutes, we could have had AI categorizing them, an income statement, a balance sheet, a Jupyter notebook for data science, and a Y Data Profiler. Thanks for joining me.